Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to another in the Sikh Dharma International how-to video series. In this video, we will look at the Ardas and what it is and how to recite it. Ardas usually translates as prayer. Prayer is often just a shopping list of what we think we need or want to make life the way we think it should be. Or it can be seen as a way to appeal for guidance, help, healing, protection, or for something tangible. But ideally, it can also be an expression of seeking alignment with the order of the universe, seeking to be an acceptance of the unknown and opening to see where divine guidance may be showing the way forward. Traditional prayer is often an active form of begging to a distant supreme being, and therefore it is dualistic in envisioning the divine or God as being separate and distant. Based on the primary teaching of oneness of Ek Onkar by Guru Nanak, Sikh prayer is in a non-dualistic form that recognizes the divine within all, even within ourselves. And as such, the actual practice of reciting Ardas becomes an act of communion with the divine. As we pray, we open an intimate connection to the divine through bhakti or devotion. The person reciting the Ardas becomes a voice for that flow of divine love between the congregation and the divine. The Sri Singh Sahib Yogi Bhajan defined Ardas as the frequency which establishes the human longing into a state of ecstasy with a feeling of divinity and fulfillment of infinity. It is a total stimulant of the human psyche, which has the power to bring God's grace into action and protection of the one who has called on the one. A Sikh values selflessness above all else. Therefore, when the Ardas is recited, we do not ask for personal gain in the form of material things. We focus on the benefit of the whole, of all people, of the community, and sometimes we seek the blessing of individuals other than ourselves. For ourselves, we ask only understanding of the divine will, the hukam, and for forbearance and patience with the harmful actions of others, and for strength and determination to hold fast on this path of consciousness and service. Every individual is entitled to pray privately in any way that is relevant for them, and Sikhs everywhere recite the Ardas as an individual prayer every day or whenever desired, for all kinds of reasons, or no reason at all other than just to acknowledge the legacy in humility and gratitude. But Sikhs follow a particular form when performing the formal, shared, community form of Ardas. This form, which has evolved over hundreds of years, embodies the collective yearnings of the community. When the Ardas is done in a group, one person, the Ardasi, leads the congregation. The Ardasi recites the Ardas, and the congregation joins in by saying Waheguru, occasionally at different and specific places within the Ardas. The Ardasi speaks not with their own voice, but becomes the embodiment of the voice of the whole group present. Whether there is a group or just an individual, it is customary to stand while reciting the Ardas. Although it is likely that there may have been some form of shared community prayer throughout the time of the first 9 Gurus, the Ardas as we know it today was first given by Guru Gobind Singh. It is believed that this original Ardas was later inscribed by Mani Singh, who was the primary scribe of the court of Guru Gobind Singh. The original words in the beginning of the Ardas were by Guru Gobind Singh and were later, after his death, expanded to include the mention of Guru Gobind Singh himself and the Sri Guru Granth Sahib. In the early 20th century, the SGPC empowered a committee of scholars and Sikh leaders to publish a standardized form of the Ardas, which is commonly used today. There are 3 main sections of the standard form of the Ardas. Number 1, the invocation using the words of Guru Gobind Singh. Number 2, the remembering of historical sacrifices and important places. And number 3, the request for grace and expression of gratitude, both general and specific. There are also some words and actions which precede the Ardas, and some words and actions which come after completion of the Ardas. As the entire congregation stands to begin the Ardas, the fourth Ashtapadi of Sukhmani Sahib is sung. Tum Thakur tum pe Ardas. It is ideal and customary to place the palms pressed flat together with the thumbs touching the center of the sternum in the center of the chest in the position called prayer pose. This is said to balance the left and right hemispheres of the brain and create a feeling of neutrality as the negative and the positive aspects of the mind also find balance. A slight pressure along the sternum can stimulate the vagus nerve in a way that slows the heart rate and promotes a feeling of calm. It is also an expression of humility. The person reciting Ardas may choose to begin by reciting another short section of Gurbani before beginning the actual Ardas, such as a slok or a short shabad. The Ardas formally begins with the first section where Ek Onkar Sri Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh is recited by the Ardasi, invoking the infinite divine presence of the primal oneness of all. Then comes the opening stanza of Chandi Divar, written by Guru Gobind Singh from the Dasam Granth. Sri Bhagoti Ji Sahai Var Sri Bhagoti Ji Ki Pachai Dasvi Prita Bhagoti Simarake. In these words, Guru Gobind Singh invoked the primal creative power of the divine feminine as manifested by the goddess Bhagwati and often referred to as the Adi Shakti. Guru Gobind Singh then went on to invoke and honor each of the first 9 Gurus, Guru Nanak through Guru Tegh Bahadur. These words of Guru Gobind Singh remind us to look at the examples of our Gurus, to remember their sacrifices and their teachings with gratitude, and to ask for their protection and guidance. While the body of the Ardas may be recited in any language common to the congregation present, this first section is usually recited in the original language as Guru Gobind Singh spoke these words, now captured in Gurmukhi. The contemporary version of the Ardas then mentions Guru Gobind Singh and then the Shabad Guru as manifested in the form of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib, asking for understanding, protection, and guidance. Then comes the historical section, which acknowledges those who have sacrificed throughout the history of the Sikhs, the Panch Pyare, the 5 beloved ones, who were the first to become Khalsa, the 4 sons of Guru Gobind Singh, who were all killed. The actual history is both rich and difficult, as there are many examples of severe brutality in the oppression of Sikhs. There are several well-known martyrs who may be mentioned at this section. These historical events, demonstrating personal courage and sacrifice, are profoundly moving and serve to inspire us. They remind us to be grateful for all those who carried the banner of the Guru throughout the many years it has traveled to reach us today. We remember these examples so that we too may find courage and be able to make sacrifices when needed to ensure that future generations may also have the gift of the Shabad Guru and the Guru's words and teachings. In this section, we also may ask for blessings upon the many contributions in the past, present, and future. Those meditators who, by chanting the name, sustain the etheric aura which surrounds all on this path, and Sevadars who serve and serve, those who shared their earnings with others, those who saw the faults in others and overlooked them. Then we remember and ask for blessings upon all the tuckets, historically significant Gurdwaras, recognized as seats of spiritual authority. The request for the protection of the Khalsa everywhere became part of the standard during a time when Sikhs had a bounty on their head and had to hide themselves in the jungles and deserts to avoid being captured and killed. The request for a blessing of a sip and a dip at the Hari Mandir Sahib in Amritsar became part of the standard during a time when Sikhs were prohibited from visiting this most sacred Gurdwara. Then comes the request for grace section, which acknowledges special events happening within or affecting the local community and mentions specific people within the local community who may have achieved or sacrificed in the service of Dharma, or people who are facing challenges, either a health issue or some other life-changing event. Here is also an opportunity to express gratitude to the divine for blessings of all kinds, remembering that brevity is usually most well received. Sometimes, when there may be a long list of people to mention, it is acceptable to simply refer to the people whose names are written here, rather than calling out each person by name. This is not an opportunity to lecture or advocate for one side or another in a controversy. Here we speak in positive terms about blessings we seek, rather than in negative terms about things we do not want. Then it is acceptable to ask for some blessings upon ourselves, to bless us with chanting the name, to bless us with discipline, wisdom, courage, compassion, and the power to give. We may ask that the physical resources, the buildings, etc., of the community may be blessed to be safe and flourishing. But it is important to remember that not every thought needs to be voiced. During prayer, words can be powerful, but going on and on can lessen that power. From our hearts, we take a moment to remember Sri Singh Sahib Harbhajan Singh Khalsa Yogiji and the wisdom he shared with us, and as it was through his seva that we were brought to the feet of the Guru, we ask that he is blessed and that his legacy is blessed. And when they are present, it is important to ask for the Guru Prasad and Langar to be blessed, along with those who perform the seva to prepare and serve them. The Ardas always ends with all present reciting the lines Nanak Naam Chardikala Deri Bani Sarbat Damla, as it asks for the blessing of upward rising spirit and the general well-being of all people. All present then bow their heads to the floor toward the Sri Guru Granth Sahib, and upon returning to a standing position, recite Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My purity belongs to the divine, and my victory belongs to the divine. All present then sing the Shabad by Guru Gobind Singh, which begins with the words Agya Pe Akal Ki. The Ardasi loudly calls out, Jo Bole So Nihal. Those who speak the following words are blessed, to which the congregation answers, Sat Sri Akal, truth is undying. And the Ardas is concluded as all present call out in unison with one final Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. And then all may return to a sitting position. The words of the Ardas have evolved and been refined over the years and continue to adapt to the times and situations Sikhs live through. Each recitation of the Ardas offers some opportunity to be spontaneous in the offering of gratitude and/or requests for understanding, protection, and solace, focusing on the situations of individuals in the community or of common situations for the whole community. Beyond the act of joining together in prayer, the Ardas offers other immediate benefits which can be felt both by the person reciting and by all those gathered. It promotes humility, compassion, fearlessness, and chardikala, upward rising spirit. It invokes a feeling of calm. It builds a sense of confidence in the will of the divine. It connects each individual to a sense of community through solidarity and oneness. The Ardas can be recited at the following times: before starting or after completing any significant task, after reciting the daily banis, at the completion of a service like a kirtan program, just prior to taking a hukam from the Sri Guru Granth Sahib, just prior to moving or performing Prakaash of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib, just after performing Sukhasaan of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib. We have assembled some documents that will support this discussion about the Ardas, and we have placed them on our website at www.sikhdharma.org/Ardas. There you will find the words that are recited just prior to and just following the Ardas. Also, we have included a few examples of the Ardas in English, and will be periodically adding more. On behalf of Sikh Dharma International, we would like to thank you for joining us for this video. We have done our best to ensure the accuracy of this content and apologize for any errors. Please check back periodically for the release of other new videos in this series. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.